Hello friends, what's up? I hope all are well. Stay home, stay safe. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel Braces Tube. This is our first video which we are going to discuss about tip and torque in various prescriptions. And this is the most important topic that should be learned by everyone, mainly who are going to enter the clinicals, as this is the bread and butter for orthodontics. Now coming to introduction, for over 100 years, orthodontists have always followed a classic guideline given by angle in diagnosis, that is the mesiobuccal cusp of the upper first molar should occlude with the mesiobuccal groove of the lower first permanent molar. Even though it was genuine and accurate, how sufficient it was? It has always remained a question over these years. Even though classification has been made about malocclusion, no one gave the criteria for ideal occlusion. So, what is tip and torque? Tip is nothing but mesiodistal angulation of the tooth and torque is labiolingual inclination of the tooth. Detailed explanation of tip and torque will be discussing in our upcoming slides. Before entering our session on tip and torque, we need to have a brief idea about generations of pre-adjusted edgewise appliance. There are of three generations. First one was given by Andrews in the year 1972. Second one was given by Roth in the year 1979. And third was initially given by McLaughlin and Bennett between 1975 and 1993. Later, Hugo Trevesi joined them and from then it was popularized as MBT. Now coming to Andrews 6 keys to occlusion. Andrews collected 120 non-orthodontic models between 1960 to 1964 of white North American origin. These 120 models were compared with 1150 treated cases which he collected from orthodontists all over the USA. So the best in treatment results and best in nature reveal the difference between right and wrong, which gave birth to 6 keys to normal occlusion. What are 6 keys to normal occlusion? They are molar intra-arch relationship, crown angulation, crown inclination, absence of rotations, tight contacts and flat curve of P. So now coming to the first key, that is molar intra-arch relationship. As we all know, the mesiobuccal cusp of upper first permanent molar should occlude in the mesiobuccal groove of lower first permanent molar. The crown of upper first molar must be angulated so that good intercuspation can be achieved. These are the diagrams showing examples of occlusion with poor class 1 molar relationship according to Andrews, caused by insufficient crown angulation of upper first molars. And FACC, which means facial axis of clinical crown. This should be known before dealing with tip and torque. It is best viewed from buccal or labial perspective. For all the teeth except molar, it is the most prominent portion of central lobe on each crown's facial surface. And for the molars, it is the buccal groove that separates the two large buccal cusps. And now coming to the facial axis point, the point on the facial surface that separates gingival half of the clinical crown from occlusal half. And now coming to the second key, that is crown angulation, which is also known as tip. It refers to angulation of long axis of the crown but not the angulation of long axis of entire tooth. As orthodontists, we work specifically with the crowns of the teeth and therefore crowns should be our communication base. And now coming to the definition, it is the angle formed by a line perpendicular to the occlusal plane and FACC, that is facial axis of clinical crown, and positive when the gingival portion of the FACC is distal to incisal portion or it should have mesial tip, and negative when the gingival portion of FACC is mesial to the incisal portion or it should have distal tip. For the occlusion to be considered normal, it should have mesial tip, and the degree of angulation depends on each tooth type. And now coming to the third key, that is crown inclination, which is also known as torque. It is the angle formed by a line perpendicular to the occlusal plane and a line that is parallel to the tangent to the facial axis of clinical crown at its midpoint. Positive when it has palatal or lingual root torque and negative when it has labial or buccal root torque. And for the occlusion to be considered normal, upper incisors should have positive crown inclination and lower incisors should have negative crown inclination. And for the posteriors, upper posteriors have negative crown inclination from canine to second premolar, and a slightly more negative crown inclination existed in the upper first and second molars. And the lower posteriors have progressively greater negative crown inclination from the lower canines through the lower second molars. Now coming to the fourth key, that is absence of rotations. Teeth should be free of undesirable rotations. Rotated posteriors occupy more space, so on derotating we gain space. Rotated anteriors occupy less space, so on derotating we require space. Now coming to the fifth key, that is tight contacts. Contact points should be tight with no spaces. And the last key, that is curve of P. The depth of curve of P ranges from flat to slight concave, that is 0 to 2.5 mm. A flat plane should be a treatment goal. So, achieving the final desired occlusion is the purpose of 6 keys to normal occlusion. And now coming to the brief explanation of Andrews prescription, these are tip and torque values of Andrews. And what are the shortcomings of Andrews prescription? Normally, for the torque expression, moment of couple should be greater than moment of force. But when Dr. Andrews was closing spaces with high elastic forces, the counter moment generated was not sufficient to produce root movement into the extraction spaces due to insufficient tip. And he also emphasized the wagon wheel effect where tip was lost as torque was added. So as the anterior portion of upper rectangular archwire is linearly torqued, a proportional amount of distal tip of the anterior crown occurs. Hence, he chose to add additional tip to anterior brackets. The ratio is approximately 4:1. When torque increases by 4 degrees, the tip decreases by 1 degree. Thus, he prescribed wide range of brackets for extraction and non-extraction cases. And Dr. Andrews increased the tip value in the bracket so that the archwire gets more twisted and the counter moment increases, mainly in extraction cases. Here we can observe the twisting of the archwire. So the moment of couple is increased, leading to root movement. Now coming to the Roth philosophy, which is the second generation of pre-adjusted edgewise appliance. Roth's occlusion study was based purely upon large number of panthographically recorded and post-treatment orthodontic cases mounted on Stuart articulator. According to him, natural teeth should be positioned from a gnathological functional occlusion, which means centric relation and centric occlusion should coincide. And these are tip and torque values of Roth. What made Roth to modify Andrews straightwire appliance? There are about 3 problems. They are inventory problem, that is, to treat different cases, clinicians were to buy band kits for all Andrews sets and series. And second one is anchorage loss. When mesially angulated brackets are placed on the posterior teeth, the teeth tend to tip mesially and migrate forward, that resulted in anchorage loss. And third one is problem in finishing. To achieve desired tooth positions with standard straightwire appliance, it was necessary to finish the treatment by placing compensating and reverse curve in the upper and lower archwire. So, teeth relapse back towards their starting position of the appliance was removed. So, he introduced overcorrection. So, with the concept of overcorrection, in 1979, Roth introduced a bracket setup containing modifications of tip, torque and in and out moments with single appliance system. Now let's discuss about Andrews versus Roth. I know this is back-breaking question for most of the people and even for me. So we tried our best to simplify it for you. First, we will be dealing with upper arch followed by lower. If we look into the tip values of incisors, these were maintained same by Roth as Andrews, and canine tip was increased by the Roth because they are being retracted in most cases of treatment. And posterior tip was also decreased and made to 0. That is, Roth eliminated mesial tip to strengthen anchorage control. And now coming to the torque, incisor torque were increased to improve aesthetics by preventing flattened profile, straight upper lip, obtuse nasolabial angle. These are the 3 points you should remember, that is flattened profile, straight upper lip, obtuse nasolabial angle, and also to establish proper anterior guidance and prevent lateral stress in the posterior segments. And now coming to the canine torque, it was decreased to offset reciprocal effect on building more positive torque into the incisors. And premolar torque was maintained same by Roth as Andrews, and the molar torque was increased by the Roth to prevent palatal cusp hanging. And coming to the lower arch, incisors tip were maintained same by Roth as Andrews, and the canine tip was increased to assist in canine guidance, and the posterior tip was decreased, that is Roth has given distal crown tip because his prescription was more anchorage demanding. And torque values of lower arch were maintained same by Roth as Andrews except second molars. For the second molar, torque was decreased to have proper occlusion curves. These are the references that are mandatory to quote in your exams to gain good result. And coming to the disadvantages of Roth prescriptions, buccal overjet developed between lingually torqued lower canines and near upright upper canines. And second one is close proximity of maxillary canine and premolar roots due to excess tip of maxillary canine. So, by keeping the shortcomings of Andrews and Roth prescriptions in mind, evolution of MBT took place, which we will be dealing in our next video. And we thank our professors for making our dream come true by their strong support and encouragement. Thank you everyone.